All right. There's been a lot of conversation off air in the background, but these are things that you are not supposed to hear, and that's why the microphones have been off. So this one is strictly, confidential, just amongst us. Anyway, so this is Inside Pages on Metro Television. This is the place to be, actually. So tell a friend to tell a friend. It starts at 8, ends at 10 here on Metro Television. I did indicate that we're going to be now looking at what is happening to the former Minister of Sanitation, who is actually taking some, house workers to court for stealing her money, more than $1 million. Now it turns out that the public is more interested in how the millions of dollars that have been stolen actually end up in their house. The special prosecutor has been busy trying to get to the bottom of that, and there have been some developments. Now, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has frozen some accounts of the former Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, CECILIA Dapaah. Now, according to reports, the account have substantial amounts of money in dollar and cedi denominations, okay? Now, court documents, of which a private legal practitioner who's here is in possession of, reveal that the OSP has filed a motion to seize the funds discovered during the resident search. Although the OSP holds the authority to administratively freeze accounts linked to a person of interest, court approval is necessary to prolong the action, and lawyer will tell us more about that. Now, relatedly, 2 more people have been apprehended in the case of the former minister, where some domestic staff still stole millions of dollars, I told you, in a home in Accra. Now, during a hearing of the Accra court presided over by Judge Ifeanyi Usapia on August 2, the case prosecutor, Deputy Superintendent of Police, Emmanuel Nyamiche, revealed that 2 more suspects have been arrested in connection with alleged theft of valuable items and money from the residence of former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, CECILIA Dapaah, and her husband, Mr. Daniel Kufuor. He's actually the complainant. Already 18-year-old Patience Butchie and 30-year-old Sarah Ejay had been charged with conspiracy to commit a crime and 5 counts of stealing in relation to the case. Additionally, 3 others, Benjamin Sowa, Kweku Botwe, and Malik Dauda, were facing charges of dishonestly receiving the alleged stolen money. So there's dishonestly, with dishonestly
receiving.
No, there's actually dishonest, like when you steal something from somebody. Appropriating, right?
Dishonest appropriation.
Dishonest appropriation. Now there's a dishonest receiving the alleged stolen money. Now, the primary suspects are Patience Butchie and Sarah J. They are accused of stealing personal effects belonging to Madame Silapa. The stolen items include assorted clothes valued at 95,000 cedis, handbags, perfumes, and jewelry worth $95,000. Furthermore, Ms. Butchie was alleged to have stolen 6 pieces of kente cloth valued at $90,000 and 6 sets of men's suits worth $3,000, which belongs to the former minister's husband. So I can go on and on and on, but let me get a private legal practitioner to tell us more. So what have you been finding out, boss? Now, I know you have the what they call it,
the Attorney General's opinion.
The Attorney General's, that's the Attorney General's opinion. That's first of all. But first of all, before you even go to the Attorney General's department opinion, what's the why is the special prosecutor in court? Why is that necessary?
Well, Audi, good morning to your viewers. Now, under the Special Prosecutors Act, the special prosecutor, as part of his obligations of duties under the law, in the course of investigating corruption or corruption-related offenses perpetrated by public office holders or even in some cases private individuals who are perceived to be part of the corruption, has the power to, on his own, without recourse to a court, freeze any property that he has reason to suspect is tainted.
Okay.
So in this particular case, you would recall that we all read in the news that the special prosecutor and his team moved to Madame CECILIA Dapaah's home.
Yeah.
And from the reports, some properties were taken. The sums of some, at the time, the speculations were that 5 hours or so was spent counting the monies found in the house.
Right.
Now we are told from the reports that about 2 million, in fact, from the special prosecutor's own affidavit, they found $590,000 in her home, and also cedis in excess of 2 million in her home. Now those monies have been frozen. Also, they proceeded, part of their investigation, to write letters to Prudential Bank and another bank to freeze the account held by Madame CECILIA Dapaah with them. I think there are about 4 accounts in total, even though they did not disclose the sums in their letter. Now, under the law, the OSP law, that then that instruction to the bank to freeze the asset, the property, can only be enforced for 14 days.
Okay.
If the OSP wants it
Extended.
the law requires that he has to come to court on notice, that's file a formal application, notify the person under investigation that we want the court to freeze this particular assets or property of yours. So the OSP has gone to court, and that is the reason why Person 128 Act, I think sections 30, 32, 40, to ask the court to confirm its freezing order, that directive to the banks.
Okay.
So that at least the OSP can have a longer period, at least a year,
Right.
whilst its investigations are still ongoing. So that is why the OSP has gone to court. If
see.
he doesn't do that in 14 days, the account will have to be open for the woman to be able to access it.
I see.
And also, you have to know that even if the court confirms the freezing order, the OSP has a maximum of 60 days within which to complete its investigations and charge Madam CECILIA DAPAAH.
Oh, otherwise the decision will have to be reversed.
Otherwise, the order automatically
Expires.
overtakes.
Okay.
And she will have to have access to her money.
I see.
So the OSP is also acting within certain time constraints. So it's not that you can freeze the assets and go to sleep.
Okay.
When you freeze the assets, you have a 60-day window within which to charge her.
Right.
Because there's economic, there are several human rights implications.
Economic and social
economic,
implications.
social, political, and human rights.
And human rights
You
implications.
cannot freeze someone's asset or property in perpetuity.
Right.
So if you believe you have reason to
Okay.
suspect that it's tainted, I mean, it is believed that before you even make the application
Okay.
to the court, you have some substantial basis to suspect it to be tainted. So
Right.
why do you have to wait further?
And obviously, CECILIA DAPAAH's lawyers are going to fight this.
Oh yes, once it's on notice, I believe that they'll file an
fight this.
affidavit in opposition to it. And I'm
So it's
sure-
possible. So it's possible the court might say, "Well, we don't see any basis." I'm saying it's possible. I'm not saying that's what I'm. It's possible the court might say, "We don't see any basis for freeze our account, so let it be."
Oh, it's very possible. You see,
The court can do that.
It's possible because when you want an account to be frozen, you must give reasonable basis. Now, I believe the period, you see, we have there should be a period under review, or there
Okay.
should be a period under investigation.
Right.
So if you go, for instance, if I have an account open from 2017 or 2010, and you are investigating me for an offense that I possibly may have committed in 2022,
Okay.
and as at 2019, the transactions of my account shows that I had a deposit of about 50 million in my account, and you want a freezing order, it would be unreasonable for the court to freeze the 50 million, which was in my account before the activity complained about. Do you get it? So
Makes
the court
sense.
will also have to look at the information that is before it, do a reasonable balancing,
Okay.
and then come to a conclusion whether in this particular case it is fair or it is just for me to freeze or to
Right.
confirm the order.
I see.
So the OSP will not just go and the court will grant you the order. So you have to convince the court as to why it should be granted.
Interesting. Now, it was the OSP. First of all, it was a CID that was in charge of this. The Attorney General's department wasn't really fully in charge because the police has delegated powers from the Attorney General to go ahead and prosecute cases of theft. Then we've seen the Attorney General who has decided to come in, but then an express opinion based on the knowledge of the facts available to him. Now, why has this created some kind of an uproar? Where some people are saying that there appears to be some discrepancies between what the Attorney General is saying he knows about the case as compared to what is contained in the amended fact sheet. Today, we don't have the original fact sheet. What we have are two amended charge sheets, sorry. You've been reading the Attorney General's opinion. What do you make of it? And do you agree with those who say something is fishy about the Attorney General's opinion?
Well, Amadou, I think that the Attorney General is doing Madam CECILIA DAPAAH a great disservice.
Explain to us why.
And this is why I say so. The Attorney General has powers to prosecute. I mean, by our constitutional arrangement, the Attorney General is the one who prosecutes all criminal matters on behalf of the state. So any prosecution going on in our courts, whether being done by the police or the state attorneys, is at the instance of the Attorney General.
Right.
So you cannot in one breath feign ignorance of the facts, first one to which you have gone to court, and then seek to reconstruct or reinvent the facts of the case.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the facts, I'm sure the facts sheet, the charge sheet, together with the facts prepared by the CID in charge, or the police officer in charge, whose name is on it, there is a fact sheet attached to the charge sheet. And in that fact sheet, the police, who were the first point of call for the Madam CECILIA DAPAAH, indicates that somewhere in June 2023,
Okay.
a complaint was lodged at the Tesano police station. Now, in the Attorney General's opinion, they claim that Madam CECILIA DAPAAH lodged her initial complaint in July, 1st July.
So that's discrepancy number one.
That's the first discrepancy between the Attorney General, who is now claiming, for his own opinion, that they were not informed before prosecution commenced, between the person who is speaking to secondary information and the police officer who is a first point of call. Whose dates should we believe? That is what I'm saying, that the Attorney General is doing Madam DAPAAH a disservice.
All right.
Because when you start seeking to reinvent or seeking to contradict the facts of the state, because don't forget, in this case, it is the state's facts. Whether the police or the Attorney General, these are the facts of the state.
And it's not possible for us to have two facts from the states.
No, you can't.
One is false and one is true.
One must be true, one must be false.
False.
So the police are saying that the complaint was lodged in June. The Attorney General is saying that, and you see, by the practice, and every lawyer knows this, when you go to the police to lodge a complaint, they have what they call action book or diary of action. They'll record it in it. So the date you came will be recorded. The date you lodged the complaint will be recorded. What you said will be recorded. And in some instances, you are given a form to write your statement.
Right.
And the police is saying that all of this happened in June. And the Attorney General, you come and you tell us that it happened in July. And you are giving us this opinion after there have been certain publications or attempts to reinvent the story and seek to introduce a certain brother who is no more into the whole picture. Then clearly you feed into a certain narrative that the attempts are being made to reconstruct, rephrase, to whittle down narrative, and for whatever purpose, or to either make Madam CECILIA DAPAAH the innocent person or to whitewash her in all of
Are you saying, Randolph, that in the first amended charge sheet, the ownership of the money is different from what the Attorney General is telling us?
In fact, for me, and I maintain,
Yes.
if you look at, and I urge everybody watching us this morning to just go online, look for Act 29,
Yes.
and go to Section 120, where it defines dishonest appropriation, which is a key element of stealing.
Right.
In there, it says that it matters not whether the accused person, the person alleged to have stolen, knew who the owner was or not. So ownership of the item in dispute is not really an issue.
But if you don't own something, how can you complain that thing has been stolen?
I give you my phone.
Yes.
You are in possession of it.
Yes.
It is in your custody.
Yes.
He comes and he steals it.
Yes.
Who is a better person to report?
Well,
You're the one in whose custody it was.
yeah, well, yes.
So
Yes.
if I go and I lodge the complaint that I had this phone in my hand, it's been stolen by Mr. A, the issue is whether
It belongs to you or
the
not.
accused person,
Yes.
whether it belongs to me or not.
It's
It doesn't belong
immaterial.
to me, the accused person. So long as I took it without consent, with the intention to deprive you of the use of it, stealing has occurred. And it matters not whether he is the owner or you are the owner.
So why then has Madame CECILIA DAPAAH deemed it necessary in the if you read the OSP's affidavit,
Yes.
it now confirms that CECILIA DAPAAH says, I own the money. Has she found it? Because initially we're not too sure whether it belongs to her deceased brother, but now she says, I own the money.
You see, I don't think Madame DAPAAH has never denied anywhere that she doesn't own the money.
Yes.
She has not denied it. You see, and I'm saying that, this whole attempt to create dual ownership of the money is coming. Nobody knows where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Because you see, we have a charge sheet which on the face of it shows that it's been amended. So it presupposes the existence of originals.
Yes,
It
which
could
we still
be
don't
multiple
have.
amendments.
Yes.
In the fact sheets and in the charges, starting from all the amended charges, they attribute the ownership of the monies to Madame CECILIA DAPAAH.
Okay.
The only items that are attributed to someone else are certain personal effects, which is kente, suits, and other things of the husband.
True.
And at all material point in time, when Madame CECILIA DAPAAH went to the police, if indeed she doubted the ownership of the money, I'm sure she would have made that known to the police. So I don't think that let's even assume without admitting that the property or the money is not hers.
Okay, and it belongs to the deceased brother.
Doesn't matter.
So
Doesn't matter.
I see.
So why this attempt to create an impression that she doesn't own it? And that's what, when you do that, then you are feeding into the narrative that you want to whittle down the amount involved to change the public narrative and make it look as though 200,000 is not too much.
That's fine. But as we speak, so then why then do you think the Attorney General has asked the Director General of CID? It says, go and find out for me, go and investigate who owns the 800,000 and the 200,000.
That is why, in my view, that's
is ridiculous.
In my view. And I say so because I have come to report a matter to you. And in my complaint to you, I say that property which is mine, or which was found in my custody, or which was in my custody or in my bedroom has been stolen. And you have the police, based on their investigations, which all happened before you, the Attorney General, came into the picture.
Right.
According to their investigation, they say that on investigation, in the course of investigation, the accused persons, some of them admitted to having stolen the item. Whether that admission was induced or was given voluntarily is a matter for the court to determine.
Right.
But at least as we stand now, the ownership of the money has never become an issue.
That's fine.
And in any case, if I may, in any case, who owns the money as the Attorney General is directing does not change the fact that the items were stolen.
Okay. The OSP is getting to the bottom of the ownership matter. The OSP is in court. But the Attorney General says, I want to take up this matter. But before I take up the matter, and before you bring me the full docket, I need to know about who owns what before I go to court. Do you think it's normal practice to have the Office of the Special Prosecutor prosecuting this matter in court? Oh, no, it's not prosecuting the matter in court. The OSP wants to get to the bottom of this. And then you have the Attorney General says, I want to also get to the bottom of this myself. Is it normal practice, or you think that we should just sort of allow the OSP just do his job?
From the OSP,
Attorney General should focus on the butchery matter because that's theft. I mean,
even though they stem from the same set of facts, what you have to do is that the OSP's focus is on the complainant, that's Madam CECILIA DAPAAH, and how she came by that money. The OSP's case is that he suspects that the monies involved in this whole prosecution as tainted property.
Okay.
Or it's monies obtained from corruption or corruption-related activities by a public officer. Okay. So that is what the OSP is focused on.
Okay.
So the OSP is seeking to ascertain whether indeed Madam CECILIA DAPAAH can justify that she has revenue streams that can give her those colossal sums of money.
Okay.
And if she's unable to do so, the law will take its course against her. That is why you may have money laundering charges against her, corruption charges against her, among others.
Okay.
That does not take away from the substantive matter which is currently before the circuit court, where Botche and Co. are being prosecuted. Because it doesn't matter whether, if you are in possession, what we are doing is more like saying that you cannot steal a stolen item. No, I mean, so long as I am not the owner of it, and I take it with the intention to deprive the owner of the use of it, or the person who has the use of it, and I do so dishonestly, stealing has occurred.
Let me do it. Yes, I get it. And thank for that legal education. I'll just take 2 minutes from each of you. I mean, I don't know how much of this is giving some kind of a bad press or a bad image to the government. I mean, nobody assesses the DAPAAH stealing any money, nothing. But when you listen to the narrative in town, it doesn't look good for the government. I mean, it appears the public is already it's already beginning to believe that the monies were sourced illegitimately or illicitly. You have an opportunity now. What do you make of all that has happened so far?
There are too many talks around this money issue. So you really, like lawyer is saying, cannot get the point or the main or the actual thing that is happening. Unfortunately for us, Madam herself she hasn't spoken. Her lawyers haven't spoken. No one has spoken. I was just reading on your screen the amounts involved. 2 days ago or so, I saw the OSP coming out to say that they haven't come out with any amounts involved that they saw at the house or in her bank account.
Except that they stated it in the affidavit.
What they stated in the affidavit is Yes, they stated 590,000,
And then
but
some
not the 48 million and
was-
the other
that was-
sums.
yeah,
That
that
one
was
they haven't
reported,
stated.
They
That
haven't
was
stated
media
anything.
reports.
Yeah.
There's some amount, but it's not what was.
So you see, so you get so many different stories coming out. The truth is that it makes any politician look bad, whether we like it or not. It will let any politician look bad. But I up to now I don't. I know Auntie Cici very well through politics actually, but she's a very respectable lady in the society and everything. I don't think and I don't want to believe that she's done anything that would impugn to corruption or any corrupted related activity. I believe she knows why through her lawyers she is still holding on to speak at the right time she would. And I believe that in whatever situation, the truth will definitely come out. So just let's hold our guns and let's, the government should also focus on what they are doing. And leave her to sort her case out whilst the OSP handles this. And this thing. But you know, the message in town that people keep on saying is that why is it the OSP was it created to only chase MPP officials? Because there are so many things that have happened under the NDC government.
But
But it's like still the OSP is on the MPP and MPP related matters. So was it her own animal to chew us or bite us or there are other things? But I think it should come out and you know let us know, as you are saying, 48 related cases. Nothing has come out so far. It's as if there's nothing going on. So we need to know what is going on and what you can do to correct it.
Yes, thank you, my brother. When you listen to all this, you actually become sad, basically, as a Ghanaian. Especially with the things that are happening in the country at the moment, the challenges that we have. And as Alfred rightly said, it makes all politicians look bad. Because now you don't know who has what in their bedrooms.
Have you become an endangered species as politicians?
I think we have been for a while, and we are endangering it more. And it doesn't help anyone. I mean, I have heard so many numbers being thrown around. You know, 1 million here, 5 million here. Some have been substantiated, others haven't. When I add everything, they say there's no smoke without fire. When you add everything, you look at, I was doing a back of the envelope calculation here. And we are talking about 10.5 million US dollars.
Yeah.
That's about 126 million at the exchange rate of that. If this monies, and again, it's an allegation going on, that indeed this honorable woman had this money in her house and a bank account, considering that she was a government official until recently, then some explanation is seriously needed. And the longer she allows this, I don't know whether because this thing is taking a legal twist, whether she can come out and state the facts or she has to wait and go to court. But the more this goes on and the more figures are distorted and added up and the complexities of legal issues being thrown around and what is it called, charge sheet being adjusted and all those things, it doesn't help anyone. But I cannot understand why she had $1 million in the first place in her house. That is problematic. And then again, if all the monies they've added, we need her to come and speak to all these monies. So we can either put this case to rest if it's her own money, or if it's an ill-gotten wealth, she can be prosecuted.
All right. I don't understand, and I'm reading this from Mr. Kwabena Sapon, who is one of the founding fathers of your party, and an elder man. He says, I don't understand why our former deputy finance minister will behave like this. He knows the functions of the Bank of Ghana more than most of us. We all know when a bank has toxic assets sitting on its balance sheet, the Bank of Ghana asks that the bank to make provisions for bad debt. That is, to write off that debt. So what is wrong with Bank of Ghana finding itself in such a situation and writing off such debt, which debt is owned by you and I, government of Ghana? You cannot use why and how we get there.
No,
the fact is we're there and we must solve the problem. Thank you very much. The Honourable Member of Parliament for Cape Coast South, Honourable George Ricketts Hagan, and also a former Deputy Finance Minister, and also Mr. Alfred Kojo Thompson. He is a member of the MPP's communications team. I also want to say big thanks to private legal practitioner Randolph Chumisi Ankra Esquire. who decided to join me. And also Professor Lord Mensah, University of Ghana Business School. Thanks for joining us as well. My name is Aldo Moro. Thanks to the production team led by Abdallah Mohammed, who is also our parliamentary correspondent. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.